Here are 5 quick crochet tips and shortcut tricks. 2 easy ways on how to do the magic ring. For option 1, we will wrap the yarn around 3 fingers like this, remove the 2 bottom fingers, drop a loop through the ring. Now, we'll switch hands and make 1 chain. So now you have your magic ring. You can pull out the tail, and from here, we'll chain 1, and you can work a single crochet or a half double crochet or a double crochet stitch. Here I'll be showing you how I make a half double crochet magic ring. So you'll just yarn over, insert your hook through the loop and work your half double crochet stitch. Continue to half double crochet in the round, and once you've completed the number of stitches required, just pull the tail, and there you go. You have a tight ring. To close the stitch, we'll insert our hook through the first stitch and make a slip stitch. Option 2 is much easier. Work a slip knot, insert your hook, and make sure that first chain is tight. We'll work 2 chains. I'll be inserting my hook through that first chain made earlier, the one that is tight, and we'll work our stitch. I'll be working a half double crochet stitch. We'll continue to work our stitch in the round depending on the number of stitches required. And to close the round, we'll just insert a hook through that first stitch and work a slip stitch. If your first chain is not tight enough, you will have a gap. So make sure that the first chain is tight. Here are 2 unconventional ways on how to join yarns in crochet. For option 1, on your last stitch, before closing the stitch, like this, here I have done a half double crochet stitch. So instead of closing the stitch like this, we'll leave loops on the hook. We'll take our new yarn and pull through all 3 loops, or whatever number of loops that you have. If you're doing a single crochet or a double crochet, pull through all loops and pull the tail to tighten slightly and crochet as usual. Here I have the excess tail, which I will be crocheting over. And there you go. You've attached new yarn. And once you've completed that stitch, all you got to do is just snip off the excess yarn, and you're good to go. For option 2, with whatever yarn we have left, we'll take up a new yarn and work up a knot. Now I'm going to pull it really tightly to make sure that it's secure, and I'm going to snip off the excess yarn. So make sure that it's tight and it will not come off. And then from here, you just work your stitch as usual. And you notice that the knot will be hidden within your stitches, so you can barely see them. You can feel them, but you won't be able to see them. To be fair, I use this method all the time. And there you go. 2 quick options on how to join yarns. How to change yarn colors. Once you're at your last stitch and ready to change colors, I'm working a half double crochet stitch. I'll yarn over, insert my hook through that chain and drop a loop. I have 3 loops on my hook, and then I'll be switching colors by picking up my new yarn color and pulling them through all 3 loops. So now all I need to do is work one chain. I'll turn my work, and now I am on my new color. Now, on the first stitch, what I'll do is I'll pick up the two loose yarn tails and half double crochet around them. So this will make my work tidy and neat, and I will not need to worry about weaving in too many loose ends. Once you're done, it should look neat and tidy like this. Now let me show you how to do it using a double crochet stitch. So on the last stitch before completing the double crochet, yarn over, insert my hook, drop a loop, yarn over, pull through two loops. I'll have two loops on my hook, and then I'll drop the new yarn color. Always remember to drop the new yarn color when closing a stitch. Chain 1, and on the next row, I'll work a regular double crochet by picking up the two loose yarn ends and working around them. This is how it should look like with a double crochet stitch. Let me show you how I do it with a single crochet stitch. So now here I am on my last stitch. I'll insert my hook and drop a loop, and before closing that last stitch, I'll pick up my new yarn color and pull through all two loops. I'll chain 1, I'll turn my work, and I'll work a regular single crochet by picking up the two loose yarn ends and stitching around them. Now let me show you how I complete a new row. So now I'm working my half double crochet stitch, leaving 3 loops on the hook. I'll pull through a new yarn color through all 3 loops. I'll chain 1, turn my work. I'll pick up the 2 loose yarn tails. I'll insert my hook through that first stitch, and I'll work my half double crochet stitch. Now I'll half double crochet along this row while hiding the tail within my stitches. Once I've completed this row with a new yarn color, I'll pick up that loose yarn tail, I'll pull it slightly and snip it off. And there you go, you've just learned how to change yarn colors. First, we'll start off with a slip knot and we'll work our chains. Depending on the number of chains required, we'll just work about 10 to 15 chains, like so. Now we'll remove our hook, and I will insert a hook through that first chain made earlier, and be careful to not twist the chain. We will insert a hook back into that loop and continue working our chains. So say for example, we've completed 100 chains. We'll slip stitch that last chain through that first chain and work one turning chain. And there you go, you've completed an untwisted chain in the round. From here, you'll just continue working the next row with whatever stitches required, and you'll join through that first stitch with a slip stitch in the round. Easy chainless foundation stitch. First of all, let's just gather double the amount of yarn required for the length of chain needed. So say for example, I need to make a 5-inch chain. I will gather about 10 inches of yarn. I'll work a slip knot. And then from here, I'll hold on to the tail and wrap it around my hook. I'll then hold on to the bottom 2 loops and drop a loop. I'll wrap my yarn around my hook and drop a loop. And that's all to it. Just keep wrapping your yarn around your hook and continue this until you've reached the number of chains required for your project. You now have a chainless foundation stitch that is super stretchable.